will tell you. Okay, let me for the moment postpone my answer. Okay, let me defer it for the time being. So so what was the main issue again? I have lost track because there are too many concepts involved in understanding this very thing. So the point is, and as you can see, this is also a field theoretic equation. You write down the action, okay, and you derive the Euler-Lagrange equations of motion simply, no magic. You just write down the Euler-Lagrange equation, just use the variation principle, derive the equation of motion. This would be the equation of motion. So you have this equation of motion. Also, for example, if you consider electromagnetic action Lagrangian, you would and work with the Minkowski space, you will end up with Maxwell's equations. Okay, if you start with Dirac Lagrangian, you will end up with Dirac equation. Simple. It's very simple. You just take scalar field, charged or real, you will end up with Klein-Klein equation. No problem. Okay, but you can also consider these theories in the presence of gravity. So your volume element would change to d4h into minus square root of minus g. That's all. Okay, this is how. And then your equations would become covered. So in the presence of gravity. That's all. All the same. All four equations, but in the presence of gravity. Fine. So with developing classical field theory of gravity or understanding it is absolutely no problem. It's perfectly wonderful. Okay, it works perfectly fine. But the point, difficulty starts arising when I want to quantize it. Okay, in the first group of three theories, there are no problems when I quantize the theory. But when I do the same for gravity theory, it does not work. In order to understand this, I will have to remove all this and write this small, very simple, not very difficult, but so you want to understand how to construct the quantum theory of gravity. In the first place, few more points. Just from this, so far I have not given any very convincing arguments why do we need it, except for a theoretical urge also to write down the quantum theory of gravity, like because I can do it for other three forces, I should also be able to do it. Yeah, fine, very good. But the real point comes that, like we plotted the potential energy curves for some objects lighter and heavier. So this reminds me of a very simple example of black holes. Black holes are you can consider some object, and you can consider some imaginary surface around this, which is called as the event horizon. So anything can enter it, but nothing can come out of it. Not even light. This is how you define a black hole. So inside this, and how to understand it at the elementary level, this is in terms of the escape velocity. Okay. Maybe there is a factor of 2. I'm not sure. Yes, perhaps. Okay. So you know this for Earth. It is some 11 something, 11.2 or something. Fine. So I throw it, it drops down. I throw it with larger velocity, it again comes down, and so on. And if I throw it with the escape velocity of Earth, then and I again throw it with that, it will not come back. Okay, that's the idea. Now you just square it. And just take R equal to 2gm by d square. Now let me replace a limiting case d goes to c. Then R goes to Rs. So I write it again. R equal to Rs equal to 2gm by c square. Correct? Simple. Only one expression of escape velocity, just squared it and rearranged it. So this means, now let us have a look at this. For the escape velocity from Earth, I want to keep my mass m fixed, and I want to reduce the radius of my Earth. So what I am doing is squeezing my Earth, not taking anything out of it. Entire mass remains there, I just squeeze it. Okay. So what will happen if this room, if I had the possibility to squeeze all these walls from all sides, then you can visualize a situation when all these tables, chairs, everything, all of us, they will come together, and that is actually that is what is called as the gravitational collapse.
Yes.
Okay. So you squeeze your Earth, reduce its radius, keep mass fixed. There would be a limiting case when this radius r becomes 8.4 millimeter. Earth would become a black hole, because then v, escape velocity, would become equal to velocity of light. Nothing would be able to escape from Earth. Even the photon will again fall back. Okay, it will come back to Earth. That is the. So now that means we understand what a black hole is. Okay, so it does not allow anything to come out of it, not even light. This is a simple way of explaining. Okay, classroom example. Okay, so that means I can consider, without going into details. Okay, people usually get afraid of doing little more mathematics, but if given time, you can know better. So supposing there is a imaginary surface around this Earth which has now become a black hole, and I call it an event horizon. This R is called as Schwarzschild radius. Okay, and so this event horizon is an imaginary surface which is surrounding the black hole, and it's unidirectional. Things can only come in, one cannot go out. In the white hole, it would be the reverse, which is still a hypothetical object, but it has charge, mass, angular momentum, everything. So here, the event horizon would again be a unidirectional membrane, but nothing would be able to enter it. Things can only come out of it. Okay. And you see that if you have heavier and heavier masses, heavier and heavier black holes, of celestial black holes, okay, as people say, sitting at the center of the galaxy. So you see, there are singularities. Black hole itself is a singularity, and then you can still have further singularities inside the black hole. If you run the universe backwards in time, you hit upon a singularity called as the Big Bang. Okay, from where we took off. Now, general relativity, which is the wonderful classical field theory of gravity, can explain things up to that point, up to event horizon, up to close to Big Bang. But if you really want to touch upon this singularity, the classical field theory of gravity, very dear to me, general relativity, it would break down. Okay, you cannot describe physics inside the black hole with the help of general relativity. Okay, so then you need something further, which is called as so you need some quantum theory of gravity. I mean, see, very old classic example of the information paradox of black holes. Okay, because black holes are also not eternal; they eventually decay away, they radiate and they decay away. So that means the information as to what once formed a black hole might get lost into the process. But if that happens, then this would clash with the unitarity of quantum mechanics. That is not acceptable. So, with this, Mr. Stephen Hawking, I don't know, maybe 3 decades ago, or even more than 3-4 decades ago, he suggested that we need to modify the laws of quantum mechanics. That was the simple way of his saying. Of course, by quantum mechanics, this is what we really need to understand. Quantum mechanics, quantum field theory is also quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is also quantum. Quantum mechanics is field theory in zero space, one-time dimensions. Okay. So this is the point. How do we modify it? What do we do it? Well, let me first make a statement and then we can go further. That string theory is one of the candidate theories in this direction. Okay. Nobody claims that this is the ultimate theory. No, this is a candidate theory of quantum gravity. But here we need a completely different look at the things. Why do we need to do that? This is the very first point. So let me remove this and let me write a simple thing. Professor Chandula would be very happy with that because it is from this direct domain. Transition amplitude or the scattering amplitude for the happening of any event like electron-electron scattering or electron-positron scattering or whatever. Okay. This is the covariant result of the covariant perturbation theory that you study in quantum field theory. Let me not write down the full mathematical expression for that. Unnecessarily, you may be frightened. That's not needed. Here, lambda is the coupling constant, and An is the contribution from all Feynman diagrams. You can learn the details from Professor Chandula about these Feynman diagrams and so on. So, let me just give an example of okay, or let me